So the build up to this awakening, and we may not completely be able to describe this because there's so much experience around this particular sort of period in the process. But I think often what we start to note in this period when we're beginning to grapple and consider and also feel larger affinities at the same time, grapple and consider life and everything it's presenting to us, right? And yet something starts to set in for us as well. Like at times we could grow tired.
Perhaps that penetrating question you may have asked, on the treadmill at the gym, or on the bus home from work, or at the party over the holidays, is this it? Is this all there is to my life? This incessant treadmill of experience that often is more or less to fulfill the lesser needs of life when there's a deeper need. That pea underneath the mattress that is there. Nothing in your life is getting you any closer to that feeling. Yeah. Definitely a persistent and pervasive sense of pressure I know I felt, which was this sense of having to get somewhere, that there was something important about your life, and you had only so much time to get there. And as the years went by, as weeks and months rolled past you, that pressure began to build, almost to an insanity point, which is, what am I here to do? What is it? As you look out at the world and see the world changing, am I connected to that? What is it? So that sense of pressure and call, I think many have felt.
For some of us, I think we seek for greater meaning in our work and relationships, and this is earnest and sometimes premature in a way, because we need to go further, even to transcend those circumstances, because the meaning may not be there. So there's this going on, needing to depart and go on, and not really being able to fully account for why you're feeling moved to do that.
And maybe, you find yourself doing things that you've done forever with people you've done this forever with, and you just can't do it anymore. You just can't do this anymore, this kind of conversation, or this kind of social stimulation, or going to this job. You just can't do it anymore. And it really comes to a boiling point. And it's as if, stepping back, you've been walking on the pavement of life along with everyone else, and the pavement is well laid, seems to be going in this direction. And then the pavement all of a sudden runs out from under you, and there's nothing in front of you now. And you look over, and that friend or the sibling or the coworker, they're still walking on the pavement. What's the problem? Well, what is this instability you feel? You used to be so natural and relaxed. Now you're so serious and upset and concerned. Relax, don't take your life so seriously. Life is for joy. Life is for happiness. Do what you want. Do what makes you happy. But you cannot deny that under the fact that underneath your shoes is a rocky surface, unsettled, unsure, and you can't just roll it back. You can't just walk backwards back onto pavement, because for you the pavement has ended, not for them, for you. And this is important because the awakening is person by person. It happens according to both our readiness for it, which is how complete we feel with the many allurements of the world, many stimulations of the world, but it also happens because greater forces are calling us out, as if our card has been called by a higher power. And so, until that time happens, though, it can be a prolonged period of great discomfort, disorientation, and without some resolution, this can lead to depression, to addiction, to all manner of forms of self-punishment or self-denial, disassociation from others and society. And it's understandable why. Because the deeper, real aspect of you beyond this life, is moving. But if nothing in your life confirms that, and if you personally can't accept that, then there is a fork in your being. You are split. And that division within brings a lot of ill health if it can't be reconciled by this awakening and this process of return that follows.
Right. One thing that I think I've noted and almost actually went through myself was kind of misplaced determination. Like, I'm going to plant a flag. Like, I'm just going to nail the situation down. I'm going to rule out the uncertainties, So plans and goals. And for some of us, in the face of that, we're not looking, we're not wondering, per se. In this more mysterious way, we are looking for opportunities and things, and that's earnest, that's reasonable. However, it can waylay us, amazingly, if you can imagine. I spoke to a student several days ago who said they were 3/4 of the way to a PhD and were stopped dead in their tracks. This is the pavement running out, the reality just draining away from your endeavor. Yeah. So these misplaced acts of determination and self-definition, and yet for some of us, though we're not looking, we can actually experience and sustain a sudden awakening. And I've met people who have described this. They were successful, and then something happened, often perhaps a crisis. And that was the trigger. That was the trigger for waking up for them. Yeah.
And so this awakening occurs because life has failed you, or you have failed life. Or the pavement has run out from under your feet. Remarkably, who knows why this happens at the time it does? Patricia and I are really speaking about here is your life beyond this life.
Yeah.
This is the life of relationship, timeless connection. Really not a physical life. It's a life outside of physical form, lived in many lifetimes in physical form. It is that life and all those relationships you have reclaimed to yourself that were forgotten. It's like you left home to go to school and you forgot your parents, you forgot your home and your house, and all you know is the school and the kids running all over the place and throwing things, and you don't know when, well, you don't think mother's ever going to come pick you up because you don't even remember that you have one. It's like being at school with no end.
Oh, gosh.
I'm sure, well, feel that out. Maybe that's how life has felt to you. With all the exams, all the interpersonal, social discomforts, the cliques, the clubs, the ins, the outs, the populars, the unpopulars. You could say that this lifetime is kind of like a day at school that never ends. Well, it will. When you leave this world, you suddenly wake up and find that you're back at home. But what would be powerful is if we could remember that we have a home
Oh my gosh.
while we're in this world, in this life.